Okay, so this is a there's an attitude that goes into science where you you don't just see, you look, and you don't just hear, you're listening. And when you do that so long, you know, it becomes evident that you're adept or are in the information because there's the information now. You know, you don't see the information. You know, you absorbed it. You absorbed it, and you instituted your own control setting because without a control setting, then um, you can't really understand why anything happens. It's pretty simple enough, and you don't have to go to college. You know, we're not talking about whether or not it is lucrative to be a scientist in a monetary way. We're just talking about if you are. And what it turns out is that um, over a certain amount of time of you paying particular consideration or reflection of images, then people that are not, because you have the choice whether you can hear or you can listen, like people who don't listen, you can't force them to listen. That's harassment and a bunch of other things, unlawful detainment, whatever it could lead to, right? That's not for you, that's for them. um, so they have that choice, and you're over here doing your thing, which is focusing and collecting information that you can use to affect a some sort of a rise. I don't really know what you're doing. That's their activities, but that's you. Okay, so um, then it always happens that you come up with something authentic. It's just payment. It's just for the focus. Whatever you're enduring is for a return. It's it's paid back with intellect because you gained insight, perspective on something, anything, right? Now that authenticity is, it doesn't get unnoticed by people who usually don't focus, but they usually like something that comes along with it, right? The credit could be physical, monetary form. It could be somebody wants to um, pay you recognition, and then there's those that are gonna be like, "Hey, what?" Like they're jealous and everything because they've been struggling. Like, did they think that it's gonna be easy, right? Um, not looking at what they're seeing and not listening to what they can hear, right? Did they think that that was the something like that was going to be easy that they agreed to? But they agreed to something. They just didn't necessarily agree to the benefit of whatever effort goes into an outcome once it is manifest, right? And um, those people, they can, turn like somebody like that should be like, well, I wasn't interested in that anyway. Like, I don't need that credit or that recognition or that money because that's not what I'm doing. I'm going about it a different way. I'm doing something else. That's fine, but a lot of people, they won't stop short of murdering you if out of sight, out of mind, if they don't understand, you know, the effect of just taking somebody else's and having it and exploiting it and living the life of somebody who created it. And you know, what I'm talking about essentially could just be what's your interest in the law? Because I am trying to remove myself from the use of money, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to wither away in the corner or some alley or something because of that choice. Like there is automation of business and the depersonalization of money. That's a thing. Like you see that, I can see that happening. Anybody could see that happening. You know, and the replacement of government by technology. And I'm not supposed to say government by technology because government is um, something that you already do. Uh, there's no government outside of yourself. Status is a government within itself. So the government has been trying to get people comfortable with accepting that you can change the way that you feel right now with an emoji wall. I know that sounds crazy, and you know what I'm saying, like you're like, what the hell are you talking about? What? But I mean, everybody uses technology to communicate, and they know what emoji balls are, and that and when you want to change your status, that you can do that, and that's part of just. I'm not saying that I'm not still talking about the same people that you have to keep an eye on. Really, I'm talking about the institution of the use of the word government. Don't feel betrayed. Those elite politicians and everything, that's something else. Now, what their thing is that through the degrees that they've received of masonry and whatnot, um, there's no deep secret. So whatever it's talking about mystery system that they're talking about is something that you can find in the library. Believe me, but they try to institute the use of the word infrastructure for frequency every now and then when infrastructure is all the rage. You want good roads to drive on, right? You want all of this infrastructure for people who are not of like mind, who are not doing what you do, and that's another activity. Well, they need that institution that supports that activity because you can't force somebody to work and have freedom. It wouldn't exist. So there has to be people who want to do what they want to do, and then a whole infrastructure for that. And then there's also the comparable definition of the word infrastructure, which is frequency. And a statesman who is speaking to you subconsciously and doing that, even if they don't say exactly the word infrastructure, is a Wahhabist, like like a Muslim, like not Muslim, like a Muslim. Excuse me, Muslim. The mausoleum builders, Templars, Temple Mason, Moorish science, slave trades. You know, we. How come every mosque is the same building that was previously a temple, and the temple for there to be a cathedral has to be built where it was already a temple, like because they're building in the same. I mean, they're running this Hegelian dialectic through the Vatican and Mecca and Medina and Israel and all these places. They need you to pay attention to that and that activity, and you know, I understand that observing the Sabbath makes you um, well, what word can you say? But you don't have to be geographically tied into that location, and if you're not geographically tied into that location, eating pork isn't gonna fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do if like you want to observe the Sabbath, but you don't even know anything about Tel Aviv or uh, Aladdin. What's his name? Saladin. Like you, this thing. I was born in 2009. Okay, I don't know what any of that stuff is. I'm a lost tribe. I'm a rare jewel, and I'm gonna eat pork because that is what goes. That's what's next to the wild rice in the movie that I'm living. Right. Um. It's so preposterous. It's much ado about nothing, which is, what I mean. Um. Also, there is some principles of subconscious amenta. That's the psyche, like where they're running around in circles in Mecca and Medina. That goes along in my ideal. That would go along with it. Um, Retroactively reversing the charge of the Saturnalian cube symbol, which is for Saturn. You get an electric symbol and an Ankh, electromagnet, the Jed. Like all these things are all connected through time, and that everybody all has always had an understanding of whether things are connected until today, because we have is technology, but we think we have the advanced technology. We have thermodynamic aeronautics. It's a missile. It's in the Bible. They're not talking about the one rockets and everything like we have now with the lasers and shit like that, but they're talking about ballistics, and it's the element of the invention of modern invention that is going into the. But shit. Okay, so you even get the word military from millet, which millet has seed technology. Seed technology, considering whether or not new the best strategy to survive is to make numerous amounts of seeds, or few seeds that are durable and hard and don't go very far, but will and that all has to do with the like modality. If you have a certain kind of hominy, for instance, then that your modality goes along with hominy or lentil or quinoa or whatever. Like there's always an angel thing going on with that. Like the animal husbandry the thing goes into the culture, and if I mean, that's fine if you can choose to buy anything from any different culture. That's consumerism. And that's fine. That's what we got. Um, just that we don't really think further than that, how to get up in these vending machines and whatnot. Seriously, it sounds ridiculous, but I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. You're not stupid if you're, scheming on find a way to get up in these vending machines. You gotta stay on your hustle.